Well, I cut out these little grommets here yesterday out of some lids off of cottage cheese containers. I just put the fuel tank in here, figured out where I wanted to put these grommets. Of course, I had some of them already set, like here where this pitot tube systems comes out, and here where the cables for the landing light, nav light wires come out. Those were already pretty well fixed. And then I've got a spot down here where the aileron cable comes out, and then another spot back there where the flap cables are going to come out. Different fuel ports here, and then there's going to be a couple of antenna penetrations, cables for antenna penetrations here. Well, anyway, I got those grommets all made up yesterday and glued them on, figured out where they were going to go and glued them on here. And then I put another coat of polybrush on the leading edge finish tape and on the false bar finish tape and on that wing tip bow finish tape. Well, then I quit and went out and got a couple loads of sand and brought those home and spread them out. Well, last night I came up here and got the little dollar patches and put over these grommets where they went, and there's a couple of them. The one for the flap cable, there's one here where the fuel line comes out for the auxiliary fuel system, and then of course this one here where the wires for the landing light and stuff come out were odd size, so instead of, I didn't put a grommet in there, I just put a patch over the top of it and glued it on. I put the grommets on and I cut odd size patches out of some leftover material for these two odd-sized ones. Well, now today I come out here, I took the fuel tank out. I've got one more grommet to make and to put in, and that's where the fuel drain, the quick drain for the fuel tank goes. I've got to make that grommet up and put it on, and then I've got to finish gluing up the finish tape on the wing tip, and then I've got some other grommets and stuff to put on. So I've just come down with the iron and cleaned these up, smoothed them out and stuff. Now this really doesn't make a heck of a lot of difference what this looks like in here, because nobody's ever going to see it. The mechanics, when they do inspections and stuff, might see it, but they're going to be looking in from the top or the bottom at an angle, and it really doesn't make any difference how this thing looks, but it makes a difference to me. So anyway, I've got this cleaned up pretty good. The other butt rib fabric on there was pretty well hacked up. It had to be hacked up around where these spars come out and where the light wires came out, pitot tube, all this stuff. They basically just took a razor blade or a knife or something and hacked big holes in there where those things went. So this should clean up a little better, be a little bit more professional, at least a little cleaner looking. Oh, you got a mouse. Well, good for you. Yeah, good girl. You weren't out there 10 minutes and you got, oh, don't let it loose in here again. No, catch it. Oh, you don't need another one loose in here. Come here. You sticker. Don't let it loose in here. A kitten, cat, she's not a kitten anymore. Just got up out of bed a little bit ago. She was in here last night with me. She just got up a few minutes ago. I just put her outside, or let her go outside. She just came in. She's got a big fat mouse. She has a tendency to bring those things in here to show them off. She plays with them and they wind up getting loose. I think we've got one loose in here now. I'm going to have to get some traps out and put it out. She's a good mouser. She'll catch sometimes 2 or 3 of them a day. That's what we got her for. Okay, I'm done with this butt end of this now. I've got to go make another grommet to go on here for that fuel tank drain, and I'll go work on that other end of the wing. Don't turn that mouse loose in here again. Hey, don't you turn that mouse loose in here again. Look, get your mouse. Look at it. Get your mouse. You silly cat. Now you let it get loose again. Okay, good girl. Good girl. Get it. Well, Smoke caught her mouse and ate it all up. She's really good about that. She eats what she kills anyway. Sometimes they'll catch a shrew or something and the cats will catch those and play with them, but they don't eat those. And there must be something bad about the shrews because even the chickens won't eat them. Anyway, no more mouse in here. She's trying to decide whether she's going to go catch another one or take a nap. Well, I got some polybrush mixed up here. I'm going to go ahead and glue the rest of this finish tape on this wingtip bow. It was stuck down in a few places here where the polybrush ran through, and I had to get some reducer on a rag and wiped it down to get it loose, pull loose. So. I might have got fabric stretched just a little bit in those places where I had to pull it loose. It's going down pretty good actually. It's going to need the iron to really shape that. You get the polybrush on here to loosen that fabric up because some of it had a little bit of polybrush on it that got dried up, and it doesn't like to move when you put it on there first until it gets softened up again with some fresh polybrush. And then there's some places where the polybrush is not going down in completely into the joint there. Places where there's some, it got glued down a little bit and not even along there. So in those places, I just use my fingers and rub the polybrush down in and get the bubbles and stuff out. Make sure the polybrush goes down through. Some of this, like I said, already had polybrush on it. Sometimes it doesn't like to penetrate the fabric, so if I rub it with my fingers, that gets it down in there and forces it down through the weave of the fabric as the solvents in the new polybrush soften up the old polybrush, and I can get it down and get a good bond with it that way in places that might not otherwise bond. Alright, that looks pretty good there. I gotta let that all set up and cure, and then I'm gonna have to do something with this tail end here where it comes over this outboard rib. I've still got that. I pulled that off there 2 or 3 times now. I'll see if I can get that to fit back up in there and clean that up, but otherwise it's looking pretty good. So I'm gonna go ahead and make a grommet for that fuel tank drain and get it glued on there, and then we'll see where we go from there.